what I will say that the neighborhood, while the homes are expensive, these are hardworking people that have worked, like all of my clients, sorry to be emotional, but we've worked really hard to live there.
California's wildfires are raging, leaving devastation in their wake. But the emotional reactions from these 10 celebrities will leave you speechless. Discover their powerful responses to this unfolding tragedy, from heartbreak to heroic efforts. Number 10, Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton, the ultimate party scene princess and a pop culture icon, recently shared an emotional story that left her fans heartbroken. Her Malibu beach house, a cherished sanctuary, was tragically destroyed in the devastating California wildfires. But this wasn't just any house. It was a place brimming with memories, milestones, and moments that defined her life. For Paris, this loss was far more than losing a property. It was like losing a part of herself. In a heartfelt series of posts on social media, Paris Hilton opened up about the heartbreak that she and her family endured as they watched their beloved home go up in flames. She described the chilling moment when they all sat together, glued to the news, only to see their house engulfed in fire on live television. Watching the news, sitting with my family, and seeing our home burn to the ground is something no one should ever go through, she wrote. Her words captured the agony and helplessness of witnessing such devastation, and fans from around the world could feel her pain. For Paris, her Malibu home was more than a beautiful beach house. It was the backdrop to some of the most important moments of her life. She revealed how her son, Phoenix, had taken his very first steps there, one of her most treasured memories as a mom. She had dreamed of creating more milestones in that house, imagining future birthday parties, holidays, and simple family moments with her daughter, London. Losing the house meant losing the chance to build those dreams in the place that she had lovingly called home. But the loss wasn't just emotional. Paris also shared that she lost countless irreplaceable mementos, family photos, sentimental trinkets, and personal keepsakes. Pieces of her history were all reduced to ashes. These weren't just things, she explained. They were pieces of my life, moments frozen in time that I'll never get back. Her grief was palpable, and fans responded with an outpouring of love and support. Many shared their own stories of loss, creating a powerful sense of solidarity and connection during a difficult time. Amid the devastation, Paris's resilience shone through. Despite her heartbreak, she found strength in what mattered most: her family. As my heart has been broken into a million pieces, I am so grateful that everyone I love is okay, she wrote, emphasizing that safety and love are what truly count. In the same breath, she took a moment to honor the firefighters and first responders who risked their lives to protect others during the wildfires. Her gratitude for their bravery added a touching layer to her message. But Paris didn't stop at expressing her grief. She turned it into action. Through her nonprofit organization, 1111 Media Impact, she launched an emergency relief fund to help other wildfire victims. Paris didn't just encourage others to donate, she led by example, contributing her own money and pledging to match every donation made. Her mission? To provide essentials like beds, blankets, food, medicine, and clothing to those who lost everything, including both people and animals affected by the fire. It was a powerful reminder that even in the face of personal tragedy, Paris is someone who uses her platform to make a difference. Her posts resonated with so many because they were raw and real. She wasn't afraid to show her heartbreak, but she also shared hope. Paris's story is a testament to the fact that even when life feels overwhelming, focusing on what truly matters the most, family, gratitude, and giving back, can provide a path to healing. As she continues to rebuild, Paris Hilton's courage and compassion inspire others to face their own losses with strength and grace. Recently, Chrishell Stause of Selling Sunset had a terrible moment when she had to flee her home in Los Angeles because of the approaching wildfires. For Chrishell, what's even scarier than evacuating is that it reminded her of her childhood trauma. You know, when she was only 12 years of age, Her family house was burnt down and the family became homeless. That kind of trauma doesn't go away. It follows you, and this new situation triggered all those feelings all over again. Chrishell also explained the feeling of having to pack whatever you could get your hands on and run away from your house, not knowing if it'll be there when you came back. She can remember the smell of smoke, hearing the siren, and the hopes of leaving the place as what happened to her when she was a kid. At that particular time, forsaking her home or even the house meant giving up the only security and the life her family had created. Now, as an adult, the same threat felt like an overwhelming experience, and it was very emotional. Fortunately, Chrishell was not the only one in this situation at the time. Her partner, Australian musician G-Flip, was with her during the entire process. Chrishell has mentioned many times how supportive G-Flip is, and in the evacuation, he was there to support her. The singer-songwriter was there for her, from packing her bags to reassuring her when the pressure was on at this terrifying time. Chrishell recently revealed how much it helped her, that he was there to support her during one of the most stressful performances that she has ever been through in years. While the evacuation was terrifying, Chrishell also said that she was glad she had the resources to evacuate without any issue. She thought of how scary it must be for people who do not have that gift or for those who lose everything in these fires. And it made her think about her own grandparents who became poor when they lost their house when she was a child and how hard they found it getting back on their feet. It only made her more compelled with patience to understand others who are going through the same situation as her and the firefighters who are courageous enough to fight for houses and communities. As emotional as Chrishell's story is, she's not the only celebrity who faced a difficult time during the wildfires. Up next, let's take a look at Miley Cyrus, who knows all too well what it's like to lose a home to fire and how she's using her experience to help others. Number 8, Miley Cyrus, empathy rooted in personal loss. Miley Cyrus has disclosed that she had to lose her Malibu home in the 2018 Woolsey fires. The fire spread through most of California, and most houses were burnt down, including Miley's. And even for her, it was not just a building gone, it was mostly a loss of a home, the home associated with milestones in her life and career. When thinking about the fire, Miley has stressed the importance of the loss in terms of felt emotions. Her home was not only bricks and merchandise, but a place where she could embrace, devise, and memorialize herself. This loss of something that was dear to her was a real eye-opener and made her appreciate what other people who endure a similar experience undergo. She has once testified about how it broadened her experience, making her appreciate the hardships endured by those affected by wildfire incidents. Miley has been very sympathetic to those who are experiencing the effects of wildfires today and knows that it is a cocktail of feelings when you lose a home. In recent interviews, she has addressed the argument that the pain experienced as a result of displacement is not only the loss of physical property, but also the loss of structure, the loss of security, and the loss of the unknown. She often stresses how stressful and overwhelming the event can be for those who might not be able to bounce back easily. Personal experiences also informed her to advocate for awareness of the general effects of wildfires and the psychological effects of the disasters on individuals and families. Miley frequently discusses the years it takes to restore not only the homes, but the lives and the strength that is needed to do so. She actively shares her message with those who are struggling and trying to support them. Miley's empathy is not only verbal, but it is also nonverbal. She has always called for people to help the victims of wildfires by donating and helping in disaster preparedness. Her experience has made her an advocate for the reconstruction of communities and the support of those in need. She will highlight the need for people to unite during calamities and perform advocacy for people who are on the front line, giving their efforts to assist. Her thoughts are good to help remind everyone of the effects of natural calamities on people and society. Miley shows that through personal tragedy, she is capable of focusing on an issue, understanding it, and bringing focus to the suffering of others who need one's help. Next, we turn to Billy Crystal, who also faced a devastating loss during the wildfires, and share his unique perspective on the emotional toll of losing a home filled with decades of memories. Number 7, Billy Crystal, Decades of Memories Turned to Ashes. One of the greatest comedians and talented actors of our time, Billy Crystal, lost his house during the recent California wildfires, the house which he bought in Malibu back in 1979. This was not just any house, though. It was a house that held more than 46 years of his life and his family's lives. A home had been a familiar concept to Billy, and he built one to raise his children and celebrate events with friends and family. More than a home, it was a haven filled with laughter, love, and creativity in his family's world. The wildfire did not only burn the walls and a roof of a home, but also burned the memories and the valuable items of many years there. Billy described a heart-wrenching scene, saying it was painful for him to understand that the belongings, photographs, heirlooms, and trinkets were all gone, and they were tangible memories of his family's history. People experienced a great deal of emotional distress as a result of the loss of such a location. Billy believed that the house represented a lifetime's worth of memories, and these memories included mornings spent with his wife and family, as well as other intimate gatherings in which everyone had the opportunity to be together. Seeing it transform into ashes was a very jarring experience that opened his eyes to the fact that even the most enduring things in life are not forever. Despite the complete destruction, Billy has expressed his thanks for the things that are truly important to him, which are his own life as well as the safety and well-being of his family. In spite of the fact that he has been deprived of his residence, he has made it very obvious that human lives cannot be replaced. In addition, he has expressed his admiration for the firefighters and other first responders who, in the face of such a catastrophic disaster, went to extraordinary lengths to preserve people's homes and protect their lives. Billy's experience has been both a wonderful learning opportunity and a wonderful opportunity for him to grow. Despite the fact that the building is no longer standing, whatever took place within it, together with the love and memories that he holds dear, will remain ingrained in him for the rest of his life. As a result of the man's ability to concentrate on the things that are most important, the agony with the bad lot is a demonstration of the man's endurance. A community is affected by a wildfire in a manner that is similar to how Billy's experience of learning how to cope while in the midst of this fire is a microcosm of the situation. In light of these words, one is reminded of the efforts that can be made to continue living after experiencing the kind of loss that he has. Up next, we'll look at how Bella Hadid faced her own heartbreak when the wildfires destroyed cherished landmarks from her childhood, leaving an emotional void that resonated deeply with her. Number 6, Bella Hadid, childhood landmarks consumed by flames. Recently, the well-known supermodel Bella Hadid shared some really depressing information regarding the wildfires that were raging through the state of California. These fires were not only destroying homes, but they were also destroying a significant chunk of Bella's childhood, specifically her home in Malibu. To Bella, it was more than just a house. Rather, it was a place that was filled with a multitude of pleasant memories that one likes to remember from their childhood days, of carefree days spent with cherished family members or caregivers, and of experiences that form the foundation of who we are as individuals. The remnants of the property were captured in a few images that Bella shared on social media. These photographs were shared by Bella. The images showed the charred ruins of the house that had been her family's home at the beginning of their lives. Throughout her entire life, she had described this house as her safe haven. The level of sadness that she was experiencing was so great that it was almost tangible when she spoke about the loss. This was not only a framework, rather, it was an essential component of the story that she was telling. the real location where a great number of events that took place in this woman's life took place, ranging from dinners with her family to celebrations, and even the less significant events that went place in between, was this particular location. In the process of falling, it was not so much the building that was being lost as it was the tie to the past that was being broken. As Bella reflected on the traumatic experience, she recalled how not only her home but also other well-known locations in Malibu were destroyed by fire. Not only were these locations significant to her, but they were also significant to the community, since they were the places where the history of the community was written. As Bella recounted how distressing it is to witness the changes that take place in the region that she has known since childhood, she came to the realization that a great number of other individuals she knew in her hometown have also gone through experiences that are similar to her own. It seemed to her as if a piece of her had been removed from her body. Bella's appreciation for the people who live in Malibu community was one of the ideas that emerged as a prominent theme throughout her creative writing. According to her, Malibu is not only a nice space or a pretty environment, rather, it is a family that is able to stand together in every scenario and crisis. The fact that the houses were gone, as well as the bonds that people had created with one another, made the loss even more profound. Bella encouraged others to cherish the homes and communities they still live in by means of the posts she made on social media. Her ability to drive home the idea that these things are so insignificant until they are lost was one of her many strengths. Her message was one of encouragement to everyone who was participating, and she encouraged everyone to show their support for those who the fires had impacted. Number 5, Ricki Lake, Dream Home Reduced to Rubble. Actress and former talk show host Ricki Lake recently suffered a major blow when the California wildfires burned down her Malibu house. This house was very special to her because it was her ideal house, and she had her wedding there. The loss of the space meant a lot more, such as the young couple's love, celebration, and memorable moments in their relationship. The only place that had been safe for Ricki was the home, and within a few hours, the fires destroyed the home. She even posted a message of deep loss and the huge emotional pain of losing a place in your life. Therefore, to Ricki, the house wasn't just a construction, it was a representation of a part of herself, a part where she had built a home with her people. Ricki discussed many things that people lost, including personal valuables, possessions, and photographs that tell the story of their lives. The heartbreak of these items intensified the painful loss of her home as it was. It was a reminder that no matter how much we cherish our property, including the most valuable ones, they are very vulnerable to natural disasters. However, understanding the reason for such tragedy, Ricki realized that during this time, people should be concerned about the safety of their loved ones. This is because knowing that her family was not affected by the disaster in one way or another was consolation enough. She thanked the firefighters and other first responders who put their lives on the line for the community and to reduce the impact of the wildfires. Ricki also talked about the general effects of the fires in society and how other people who are a part of the society also suffered losses in their houses. She called on her fans to support the cause and assist people who were also dealing with such tragedies. Ricki shared her experience in order to mobilize those who faced similar problems during the tragedy. The loss of her Malibu home was a big emotional loss to Ricki, but all that she said and did was positive, indicating that she was determined to move on. She has used her own story of mourning and healing as a way of trying to raise hopes and unity among the grieving. Next is Steve Gutenberg, who not only faced the threat of wildfires, but also stepped into action to assist his neighbors during the crisis. His story showcases the strength and unity that emerge in times of adversity. Number 4, Steve Gutenberg, on-the-ground efforts amidst chaos. It may come as a shock, but Police Academy and 3 Men and a Baby star Steve Gutenberg was a real-life hero in the recent wildfires. When fires were approaching his house in the Pacific Palisades, Steve did not stand idly by watching. No, he was a man that took an active part in evacuation and tried to help other people. His response provides evidence that, in distress, these trivial gestures can truly become life-changing. Steve also told about the things he saw with his own eyes, the thick smoke, the flames, and the tense atmosphere as people fled their homes. He described people carrying whatever they could into cars, with their families and pets and neighbors helping each other evacuate. It was a moment of horror and simultaneous togetherness. People who were willing to work together, for the community was united by the tragedy that befell them. What was most noticeable, though, in Steve's endeavors was that he was an active participant. It wasn't enough that he only encouraged others to leave. He personally assisted in the evacuation process. From assisting a neighbor to packing his car to comforting people who were stressed by the situation, there was Steve. He did as he felt that he had duties to his society and also ensured that he remained calm during the stressful period, which was encouraging to many. At the same time, the destruction did not exhaust Steve's focus. He also underlined the tenacity of the Pacific Palisades family. He explained how people cared for their neighbors, provided homes for the homeless, and helped the firefighters who were fighting the fire. Some of the directions are that people are not hopeless even if they suffer, and the best example is this movie. Steve did not act this way just in the process, but also showed himself in the work of one human to another. He also took his time to tell the nation how brave the first responders were and how they could help those affected by the wildfires. To Steve, it was not about becoming famous. It was about being a good neighbor and trying to make a difference in the community. Next, we turn to Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag, who experienced their own heartbreaking loss during the wildfires. Number 3, Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag, facing backlash amidst loss. Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag, the couple who rose to fame through the reality television show The Hills, recently survived one of the biggest disasters in their lives when their house was burnt down in the Pacific Palisades fire. The couple was devastated when they lost their house because their home was not only a shelter for them, but they were living there with their son, Gunnar. The fire was such that all they had invested in was destroyed, and they had to begin all over again. Like many, the couple received lots of messages of condolence and support, but they also received negative comments from the duo. Some of the people who commented on the social networks wondered whether they deserved sympathy or not because of their living conditions and choices. Adding this to the mix made it even tougher since women were at their most vulnerable. In addition, the couple avoided negativity, and they concentrated on the only good things they received from their friends, who said they were not alone in this fight. Spencer and Heidi took to social media to share their experiences of trying to put their lives back together. They took time to express their gratitude to the firefighters who risked their lives to protect the community and also gave the spotlight to those who had lost their homes. They also urged their followers to contribute to the Wildfire Relief Fund, explaining that there was a lot of demand for assistance from families affected by the fires. Despite losing their show and the backlash that followed, Spencer and Heidi were willing and ready to prove strong for a little boy. They posted photos of strength and hope, telling their fans that no matter how hard things get, it is still possible to progress. Their experience was to show people that public life has its emotional and social repercussions, especially during such a sad time. Next, we'll explore how Lil Kim faced her own wildfire-related challenges and the surprising controversy her comments sparked during the crisis. Her story brings a unique perspective to the conversation. Number 2, Lil Kim. Controversial comments sparked debate. Lil Kim, the queen of rap, whose attitude was as aggressive as her lyrics, was caught in the eye of the storm in the California fire incident. The woman said in one of the social media posts that she was praying for a monsoon to assist in extinguishing the fires. As for her, she was quite straightforward, and her message was simple. She wanted the fires to cease. Their reaction was not quite what she expected. However, people started paying more attention to the choice of the word than the message she wanted to convey. The reaction was fast and decisive. Several individuals voiced their dissatisfaction with her lack of knowledge of the potential consequences of a monsoon, which has the potential to bring about deluges of rain and result in flooding and landslides in areas that fires have impacted. Even more people voiced their displeasure, claiming that she did not care about the disaster or that she did not care about it at all. In particular, when such a platform is used as social media, which runs in real time, the critique demonstrated how quickly even a good message can be misunderstood by someone. This is especially true when the platform is on the internet. Lil Kim felt the need to provide an explanation after she became aware of the uproar. She stated that the purpose of her message was to convey her concern and empathy for the people who had been affected by the previous fire events. She had the intention of expressing her hope that someone would discover a solution, but she was unable to do it using the terminology that was appropriate. Certain individuals profited from her explanation, and they were able to sense her genuine concern through her words. It is questionable whether or not it is possible to send messages during the extraordinary periods of personal relationships that we are experiencing in today's world. However, there is a grain of truth in the theory. As prominent figures are required to exercise utmost caution with regard to the statements they make during times of crisis, it is possible that this is what Lil Kim wished to bring to mind. Despite the fact that the conclusion was catastrophic, she had good intentions, but it led to additional discussion regarding the manner in which celebrities react to natural disasters and the influence that their messages have on the broader public. Number 1. Eva Longoria, a heartfelt mission to support wildfire victims. When the California fires swept through towns, Eva Longoria didn't sit idle. The famous actress and social activist did not only speak, she acted by contributing $50,000 to the families and the workers of the disaster. Her contribution was, however, not just a check, it was the end of the tunnel for those who had lost so much. Eva's link to the crisis was not just remote, she went through the same feeling that many other homeowners felt when evacuating their homes as the fires approached. Yanking out the things that mattered most and leaving the rest. She said it was thrilling not knowing if her house would be standing still when she got back. Nevertheless, her home remained intact only, which made her sensitive and sympathetic toward the rest of the affected people. Contrary to this, Eva ensured that the voices of the needy were heeded by becoming their spokesperson. Her donation was a help for families who tried to restore their homes and for workers who lost their sources of income. In addition to the money that she provided to the cause, she devoted a lot of time to motivating people to do more and do it in any manner they wished. Eva's message was clear. It's not just about recovery, but it's about the community and coming together as a strong force that matters the most. What really points to Eva's character is that her desire to help other people does not end with offering them temporary shelter. She urged people to remain focused on the process of supporting communities even after the fires have been put out. The whole speech was a call to come together as one because together they are stronger, and they must prepare for the worst in very difficult times. Thank you for watching. These emotional moments remind us of resilience and compassion during tough times. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell for more updates.